Dear students, welcome to MNR Digital Classes. This is the first lecture of third semester BSc Physics course. In paper 3, that is third semester physics syllabus, you are going to study two main branches of physics. One is geometrical optics, other one is electricity. The portion which I am covering in this semester is module 2. It includes two chapters. One is vector calculus, other one is electrostatics. In vector calculus, we are not going in depth of the entire vector calculus, but we are limiting ourselves only to a small portion of vector calculus, that is scalar and vector fields. The first lecture in scalar and vector fields is the concept of point function and fields. Now, first let us understand what do you mean by a point function. We know that physical quantities associated with various physical phenomena in nature have different values at different points in space. For example, temperature in a room varies from one point to another point. It is higher nearer to the source of fire, that is source of heat, and it is lower from a far off point. Similarly, if you consider a charge, the electric field due to a point charge is larger at the points nearer to the charge, whereas as we move away from the charge, the strength of electric field goes on decreases. Such physical quantities whose magnitude depends on the position in space can be represented as the continuous function of the position coordinates. So with this idea, let us define what is the meaning of point function. If a physical quantity is expressed as a continuous function of position in a region of space, then such a function is called as point function. If a physical quantity varies as a function of only one variable, say x coordinate in Cartesian system, then it can be expressed as phi is equal to f of x, where x is the position coordinate and phi is the physical quantity. It may represent any physical quantity which varies with respect to x. Similarly, if a physical quantity varies in three-dimensional space, that is in terms of Cartesian coordinates x, y, z, then it can be expressed as phi is equal to f of x, y, z. It means the physical quantity phi depends on the x coordinate, y coordinate, as well as the z coordinate. Now let us understand the concept of point function with the help of a simple example. Let us consider a heated hot plate. It is a two-dimensional function because we have only x and y coordinates as variables, whereas the z coordinate is constant. Now, if the plate is heated at the center, as shown in the diagram, then the temperature is high at the center. As we move from the center towards the edges of the hot plate, the temperature goes on decreases. In the diagram, the variation of temperature is represented as the variation in the color. Darker color represents the higher temperature, the lighter color represents the lower temperature. This type of images are called as thermal images. So, the temperature at any point on the surface of the hot plate can be expressed as T of x, y, z. Here, z is constant since it is a two-dimensional surface. We can express it as T of x, y. Scalar point function. If a point function is representing a smooth or differentiable scalar quantity, then it is called as a scalar point function. So from the definition, it is clear that the physical quantity which represents the point function, if it is a scalar quantity, then the point function is called as scalar point function. Pictorially, a scalar point function can be treated as a point x, y, z in a region of space such that it represents the magnitude of physical quantity at that point. Now, in the diagram, each point represents the point function. If you take the collection of these point functions, then it represents the scalar field corresponding to scalar point function. We are going to discuss about the scalar field in the next session. Even though we say that a point function is smooth or differentiable scalar quantity, in most of the cases it is smooth. In some cases, the function may change abruptly. Then it cannot be considered as a point function. So it is clear that any point function, any physical quantity can be considered as a point function if it varies continuously with respect to position. If a physical quantity varies abruptly with respect to position coordinates, then such quantity cannot be treated as a point function. Now, the second one is vector point function. If a point function is representing a vector quantity, then it is called as vector point function. Now, let us understand the pictorial representation of the vector point function. Now, observe the diagram. Here we are representing the arrows directed in different directions and having different lengths. Now, each arrow represents a vector point function at that point, say x, y, z. In a region of space. Now, the direction of the arrow is the direction specified by the vector function, and its length is proportional to its magnitude. So, at any point, if you want to know, since vector quantity has both magnitude and direction, if you want to know what is the magnitude and direction of vector point function at that point, pictorially how we can represent is draw an arrow such that the direction of the arrow specifies the direction of the vector point function. Similarly, the length of the arrow is sketched in such a way that its length is proportional to the magnitude of the vector point function at that particular position. Now, if you take the collection of all such vector point arrows, that gives us a vector field. This is also we are going to learn in the next session. Concept of field. The region of space in which each point is specified by a point function, either having the vector property or having the scalar property associated with the physical observable, then it is called as its field. Field associated with the point function. In general, a field is either a vector field or a scalar field corresponding to vector quantity or scalar quantity, which is specified everywhere in space as a function of position. That is, in terms of Cartesian coordinates x, y, z corresponding to three-dimensional space. Now, if a physical quantity is a scalar, for example, if the physical quantity represents the temperature, density, potential, etc., then we are concerned with the field which is scalar field. Similarly, if the physical quantity is a vector quantity, that is velocity, electric field, etc., then we speak the field in terms of vector field. So, from the above discussion, it is clear that we have two main kinds of fields corresponding to nature of physical quantities. scalar fields corresponding to scalar physical quantities, vector fields corresponding to vector physical quantities. Now let us understand again the concept of field with the help of an example. Consider the temperature of a metal rod heated at one end and cooler at the other end. We know that heat always flows from a region of higher temperature to lower temperature. As a result of this flow of heat, the temperature at different points along the length of the rod will be different under steady state conditions. So at each point, the temperature is different. So if we go on marking different points along the length of the rod, each point represents a point function having only the magnitude, that is, it represents the scalar field, that is the temperature field. Similarly, if we consider the amount of heat that is flowing across the rod, then it represents the vector field, that is represented by r bar x comma y comma z. So here it is clear that T1, T2 are the temperatures at the two different points. Each point represents the scalar point function. The corresponding field is called as scalar field. Similarly, the quantity of heat that is transferred from one end to other end represents the vector field, represented by r bar x comma y comma z. Thank you.